Hi everyone and welcome to this video. If you are here, you're probably in the market for a therapist and you may have had some trouble finding one, and I will be completely honest, it is very overwhelming to start this process. And a lot of times when you're looking for a therapist, it isn't a time in your life when things are just great. Maybe I want to work on these underlying things. It's typically in a time of crisis and when you're super stressed out. And so adding another layer of stress to that isn't helpful. So today I want to share with you the three, I think, best ways to find a therapist that's a good fit for you. So the first one is ask your friends and family if you feel comfortable with that. Now, I know that mental health is a stigma. I know that people don't generally talk about going to therapy or needing any type of mental health support, but you would be surprised how many people are actually in therapy. And our culture is shifting to accept that. And I love millennials that are talking about therapy is cool and this is what my therapist says. And it's normalizing the whole experience, which is incredible. So if you know that your friend goes to therapy, don't ask them personal questions, but maybe who do you see? Would you recommend them? What do you like about them? If you have family that goes to a specific therapist, ask them. Now, ethical things between a therapist seeing different members of your family could come into play, but if you contact that therapist and they're not able to see you because maybe they see your mother or your brother or your sister, they should be able to help guide you in the right way. We always have colleagues that we will refer to, so it's a good place to start. The second way that you can find a therapist is going on Google. Now, I never suggest that my clients go on Google because a lot of times it creates a lot of fear, when they're trying to figure out what's wrong and what's going on. But when you're trying to find a service, it can actually be extremely helpful. So you can Google something like therapist near me, specializing in chronic pain, depression, anxiety, whatever it is. And Google is pretty good about pulling up therapists in the area that might specialize in those areas. Now, I do want to let you know that at the top of that Google list, there's going to be ads. So there's going to be giant mega companies that are doing advertisements like BetterHealth and Talkspace, that are trying to get people to come through their companies. As a person that used to work for those companies, I would urge you to try to find a provider individually, because those big companies aren't reimbursing therapists what they're worth, and you're still paying a lot of money. So it's better to find a therapist that is running their own business and to support them. You're also going to notice on Google that there aren't a lot of therapists don't have reviews. That is because we cannot ask our clients for reviews. And going back to the stigma of nobody wanting to talk about going to therapy, people aren't going to put on there, I love this therapist, she's helped me through so much, because their name is plastered on the top of that. And so that's okay. I never want to ask my clients to put a review in for me. I just wouldn't feel comfortable asking that. So if a therapist doesn't have any reviews, that's okay. That doesn't mean that they haven't been around for a while, and it doesn't mean that they're not a good therapist. So you want to click on that, go through some websites and see if something speaks to you. That's always a great way. The third way is using an online directory called Psychology Today. So Psychology Today is this mega mental health directory that you can use to find a specialist in your area. And I really like Psychology Today. It's one of the places where I also market, because you can kind of specify on there different things. So when you pull up the website, you want to put in your zip code and search for therapists near you. I would also recommend to use a laptop or desktop version of this, because I don't know on the mobile site if it gives you all of the options to filter. So if you're on the computer version, probably saying all these names wrong, but you want to look on the left hand side of that web page, and it's going to allow you to filter the therapists that are there. So you can filter how many miles you want to travel. You can filter your insurance. You can check off things that you want to work on, that like what you're mainly coming to therapy for. Is it depression? Is it anxiety? Is it trauma? Is it relationships? Is it chronic pain? You can specify all of that. You can also, I think, check which age you are, because certain therapists will specialize in working with elderly or teenagers or children. So it's really cool that you can then narrow down this huge, overwhelming result to just, probably 15 or 20 people in your area if you're in a big city, less if you're not, that are specialized, take your insurance, and will be a good fit for you. So when you click on their profile, you're going to see some narratives that come up that are typically like, I know you're in a bad place, glad you're here. Read through those. And I know that they sound a little corny, but pick one where you feel where that's speaking to you, the language is authentic for you. There's typically links on there to go to that therapist website, which can be extremely helpful. A lot of therapists will put videos, like I put videos on my website so people can see me, what I talk about, and determine would we be a good fit. You can read about the therapist on there, their qualifications, and all of those things. So it's a ton of information. Once you narrow that down, you can then reach out to the therapist, and a lot of us do free consultations. I do a free 30-minute consultation because I need to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for me. If you're struggling with some deep-seated trauma, I'm not a trauma therapist, so I'm not going to be a great fit for you. But other types of issues, like we might be a great fit, or maybe you're having the types of issues that I specialize in, but our personalities just aren't matching up well. And it's so important to find a therapist that you feel like, okay, I can trust this person, because that's what's going to determine your progress that you're making in therapy, is your relationship that you have with this therapist. So if you do find some therapists on there that aren't taking your insurance, unfortunately, insurance is getting incredibly difficult to work with. And so a lot of us aren't taking insurance. We do, however, offer out of network benefits or super bills. And at the end of each month, I provide my client with a bill that they submit to insurance, and insurance can reimburse them. Now it's up to every insurance. Everyone's different, so it might look different for each insurance company and the benefits that you have. But that's always an option. Just because they don't accept your insurance doesn't mean that it's not accessible to you. A lot of therapists might have sliding scale fees available as well. I offer a limited number of these every year for clients, and when they're full, but that is something that I have in my practice to make sure that people have access to therapy services. And know that you can do a couple of consults. You don't have to pick the first person that you talk to. This is important stuff. You're going to be talking about the things that matter most in your life: your job, your relationships, your relationship to yourself, your well-being. You have the right to say at the end of that consult, thank you so much for your time. I'll be in touch with you. I want to think about it. It's completely okay. You should never feel pressured to book a session right away, unless of course you want to, and then most of us are happy to do that. So those are my top 3 ways to help people find the therapist that they need. And I hope this was helpful. And if you are in a place where you think therapy would be helpful, please feel free to reach out, and I would love to talk more to you. All right, take care and have a great day.